The quest for answers and a cure can push individuals and their families to the breaking point. That's precisely what happened to Julie and her husband, Mike. In the summer of 2002, longtime friends Mike and Julie finally work up the nerve to go on their first date together.
I didn't ask her out until after our first year in college. We were just friends the whole way through high school.
I actually asked you out the first time. I did.
At first, Mike and Julie play it safe in their relationship and in the bedroom.
We always used protection in the form of a condom because we were worried about her getting pregnant.
But in March of 2004, the couple decides to take things a step further.
Mike actually proposed one weekend when I came home from school. Of course, I said yes. We knew we wanted a fairly big wedding because our families are pretty big.
I'm not one to get real emotional, but as soon as I saw her walking down the aisle, you know, it brought tears to my eyes. It was the happiest day of my life.
After the reception, Mike's parents got us a room at a bed and breakfast to spend, our wedding night together.
I was certainly looking forward to the wedding night. Everybody knows what happens.
Before, we were always very careful and, used protection. And that time we didn't, because we figured we were married now, so if we got pregnant, we got pregnant.
But on the most anticipated night of the couple's young lives, something goes terribly wrong.
Pretty much right after, I knew something was not right because I was in a lot of pain. The pain that I was feeling was inside, kind of like somebody was sticking needles up inside of me and like a burning, like really painful burning. It was really scary because I wasn't sure, was there something wrong with me? Was there something wrong with him?
As our wedding night, the difference between this time and any other time is it was the first time that we decided to have unprotected sex.
I had never encountered semen inside of me before. And how do you go around asking people, is that what it's supposed to feel like? Is this how it's supposed to be, or is this just me?
2 days later, the couple flies to Florida for a week-long honeymoon. They're hopeful that Julie's reaction was just an isolated incident. But the attacks only get worse.
It would happen pretty much right after we got done having sex. Within a few minutes, it would be the painful burning and the itching, and I actually ended up getting blisters. I didn't know if it was something wrong with me. Maybe I had some disease, or maybe he had something and we never knew about it.
As soon as they return to Ambridge, Julie schedules an emergency appointment with her gynecologist.
I went to the gynecologist actually, and he thought it was a yeast infection. And this went on for probably a good 6-7 months, at least. Ended up at the doctor's, at least once a month, at least getting a new prescription.
I just kept thinking, what could be wrong? What could be causing her to blister? And I'm like, Julie, this can't be. There's something wrong. You can't have this many infections all the time.
They did blood work, they did every kind of test for any STD possible, just seeing if maybe one of us had something. All the tests came back completely negative. There was not one test he could find that, indicated a problem.
It isn't long before the stress begins to take a toll on the young couple.
When, this actually happens afterwards, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's pretty much close to a 10. And I don't think that's what a lot of people understand, is actually how painful this actually is.
With no diagnosis in sight, condoms appear to be the only solution. But there's a major problem there as well.
We definitely wanted kids, both of us did, and especially me. This room is going to be the nursery. It's fairly empty right now because we didn't want to buy too much stuff ahead of time, just because I think it makes it harder on me and Mike to, see the room filled and not have a baby in it.
Going through infertility myself, I kept thinking, please, God, please don't let this, be an infertility thing, just don't let this keep her from having a baby, because I still wanted her to experience having her own. It broke my heart.
Julie spends over a year enduring painful, unprotected sex, but she's unable to get pregnant. Eventually, she turns to her friends for emotional support.
I was actually the maid of honor at Mike and Julie's wedding. We were actually out to the movies, and we were on our way home in her car, and it came up, and she told us about it. And I was like, well, maybe you're allergic to him.
And after they said that, I'm like, it kind of crossed my mind, like, could that really be possible? So I kind of went home that night and did a little research on the computer. Could you really be allergic to somebody?
According to sexual health experts, the answer is yes.
Typically, when a woman has a semen allergy, she's been told or she believes that she has a vaginal infection, such as a yeast infection or a bacterial infection. The body recognizes a semen as a foreign protein just like it would recognize a peanut allergen or a pollen. So you have swelling, you have itching, you have inflammation of the nerve endings.
All the symptoms pretty much matched mine, word for word.
She said, Mom, I'm allergic to Mike. And I go, what?
The couple is relieved to finally put a name to Julie's condition, but it's a devastating blow for one very important reason.
In a person with a semen allergy, you can have infertility because the body is attacking the sperm, making them inactive, so they're unable to fertilize the egg.
It was just making me miserable, and it was really taking a toll on our relationship.
I would give her anything in the world, and that just tore me up that the one thing she wanted, I wasn't able to give her.
My body was killing his sperm, so there was no way for us to get pregnant.
But a revolutionary new treatment may offer this young couple hope and a chance at having a baby of their own.
There's definitely a lot riding on Dr. Bernstein. He's pretty much like our last chance of fixing me, I guess you could say.
Due to adult sexual subject matter, this program is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. After identifying a rare and bizarre semen allergy, Mike and Julie have all but given up hope on being able to have a baby of their own.
I took it pretty hard. It pretty much devastated me when we first found out that, in reality, we probably won't be able to have our own children.
What my body was actually doing was pretty much killing Mike's sperm. So obviously there's no way of getting pregnant when that's happening. The fertility specialist we were seeing suggested in vitro fertilization.
IVF could be the solution. However, the procedure poses several challenges.
It's very expensive. And with us being young, we were only 23 years old, we didn't have that kind of money, and neither one of our insurances would cover it.
And there's another factor to consider.
I was working in a Catholic school. And when you work in a Catholic school, you sign a cardinal clause when you first start working. By signing the cardinal clause, you pretty much take away any artificial means of reproduction, which you can lose your job for if anybody finds out about it. I mean, it was just so much to deal with at once. It was just excruciating pretty much, because we just wanted to have kids and it wasn't working for us.
The desperate couple spends weeks researching their options on the internet. And just a few hundred miles west of Pittsburgh, they hit on what may be their last hope. Dr. Jonathan Bernstein of the University of Cincinnati is an allergist immunologist who's been treating women with semen allergies for years.
Well, we call it seminal plasma hypersensitivity, and it can be localized, where it just affects the vagina, or it can be systemic and present like anaphylaxis, where individuals have not just localized discomfort, they actually can have hives, soft tissue swelling, lip swelling, tongue swelling, respiratory problems, wheezing, shortness of breath. In severe situations, their blood pressure can drop, they can have vascular collapse and potentially die.
And it's far more common than most people think.
We estimate that up to 20 to 40,000 women in the United States may suffer with either localized or systemic seminal plasma hypersensitivity.
Dr. Bernstein has developed a desensitization treatment similar to receiving allergy shots.
It's no different than allergy injections you give for people with hay fever.
We both had to send in some blood samples, and I had to send in a 6-day pooled sample of semen.
The lab then creates a serum from Mike's semen that will be used to immunize Julie.
How soon will they know, say if you get pregnant, how long will it happen within a year?
It could happen at any point then.
Maybe that day.
It happened that day.
We're hoping, we're praying. This might be the answer. This might be the answer. I pray so hard for it, and I think this is gonna be the answer. I really do.
Today, the couple makes the 5-hour drive to Cincinnati for treatment.
We've been through so much, and there's nothing I want more than for this to work. And I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be devastating if it doesn't.
There's definitely a lot riding on Dr. Bernstein. He's pretty much like our last chance of fixing me, I guess you could say.
Hi,
Dr. Bernstein.
I'm Julie.
All right, nice to see you.
Mike.
Do you have trouble with needles or?
I don't like them.
She has two
I'm
cats.
okay if I look away.
Okay.
I just-
All right, you're gonna feel like a pincushion by today.
Ah.
That's part of the process.
The first step to curing Julie is to figure out what proteins in Mike's semen she's reacting to.
So this is all stuff that's been prepared from your seminal fluid that you provided us, okay?
You ready, Julie? Yep. Okay.
Next is a series of injections containing the serum made from Mike's semen.
They're a little itchy, like, I don't know, 3, 4, and 5. Like this arm? No, that's fine.
In all, Julie receives 30 shots, each one stronger than the last.
Yeah, too bad if I knew it was needles. I don't think I'd be here.
Then, Mike and Julie are given strict doctor's orders.
Well, we'd like them to go out tonight and have a nice dinner and see Cincinnati. And then before they come back in the morning, they're supposed to have unprotected sexual intercourse. And then they're going to assess their response.
But only time will tell if they'll be able to get pregnant. For most adults, sex just comes naturally. But what happens when you don't even know you've done it?
And he's like, you do it all the time. Why wouldn't you tell me something like that a long time ago? That's something I need to know.
Due to adult sexual subject matter, this program is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Sex disorders can be painful, embarrassing, or all-consuming. But what happens when you don't even know you have a problem? For one woman, learning the truth about her sexual activity gave her the shock of her life. Keisha has had memory problems ever since she was a small child.
And all these people keep telling me things happened that I really don't remember. I hit my car in a pole and don't remember. I hit a wall that's been there for 10 years and forgot the wall.
But Keisha always remembered her sex life until one strange evening.
One night my ex came over and we had some conversation about a few things that we needed to discuss and work out. The TV was on, we were watching TV, had some popcorn or something. The next day, he was gone. I remember him coming over, I remember us talking. I don't remember when he left. I remember going to sleep. I just know the next morning he was gone.
That same morning, Keisha doesn't feel quite right.
I began to feel a little uncomfortable for the next few days, and I did not know why. My boyfriend said, I think you and your ex had sex. I was like, no, I would remember. So, you know, unless I'm crazy, I would remember.
But Keisha is stunned when a conversation with her ex confirms her boyfriend's suspicions.
And he's like, yeah, you don't remember? I was just like, wow, are you serious? And he was like, yes. And I was like, did we use a condom? And he was like, no. And I was like, but we don't have sex, and we definitely don't have sex without condoms. And he was like, you don't remember? I'm like, no, that's why I'm asking you. If I remembered, I wouldn't be asking you, because I would know.
Alarmed, Keisha's next stop is her doctor's office for a battery of tests.
I saw the neurologist, and they ran 1 million tests. All my tests came back negative. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, I must be crazy. And then they did a psych evaluation at the neurologist. And they were like, no, you're not crazy.
But the question remains, how could Keisha have had sex without knowing it? As it turns out, her boyfriend knows the answer.
He was like, "Did you have sex in your sleep?" I was like, "What? What do you mean?" And he's like, "You do it all the time." Why wouldn't you tell me something like that a long time ago? That's something I need to know.
Not long afterwards, Keisha discovers that this condition actually has a name.
Sexsomnia is having intercourse while still asleep. So it is sexual behavior, but the person is technically asleep, just like sleepwalking or sleep eating. They have no memory of having sex while asleep.
I think that this has happened in my past because I've had a person or two come to me and say that we were intimate and I don't remember. And I would be like, "Oh, you're lying, you're making it up, you're nothing but a liar. I can't believe you would lie like that."
But the alarming truth is that sexsomnia can have serious consequences.
People who have sexsomnia have been arrested and have had legal troubles because they're engaging in sex without the consent of their partners. They've been charged with rape, child abuse, and there's the risk of sexually transmitted diseases, there's the risk of unintended pregnancies.
There have even been recorded instances of people leaving their homes and sleeping with strangers without ever realizing they've been out of bed. Because sexsomniacs are often unable to control their sexual impulses while sleeping, they could make a sexual advance at anyone. A visiting friend, a roommate, even a child.
If you lie down to take a nap and two of your friends' kids are lying next to you and you have the propensity to have sexsomnic behaviors, one could be concerned that one might do things in sleep that might be perceived incorrectly or might be harmful to someone.
Given the serious risks associated with the condition, Keisha has agreed to meet with sleep specialist Dr. Helene Emsalem at her clinic just outside Washington, D.C.
Have you ever had any other abnormal behaviors at night in your sleep that anyone's told you about or that you've become aware of in the morning?
People have said that I've answered the phone and had phone conversations with them. If someone comes to the door and knock, I'll open the door and let them in. My ex-husband said I punched him or slapped him in the face while I was asleep.
Well, we believe that sexsomnia is one form of a parasomnia. A parasomnia can be as simple as sleep talking and muttering a few words at night, or as complicated as making sexual advances on someone and not having any awareness of it.
Dr. Emsalem believes that a sleep study will be a critical first step in getting a handle on Keisha's sexsomnia.
We're going to be putting a series of wires on your head. I'm going to put one on your chest. This one is going to record your EKG.
Okay.
We can treat these disorders. We can suppress these abnormal arousals out of sleep. Identifying the problem and treating it becomes our responsibility.
All right, have a good night.
Now the question is, what will the cameras capture during the night? And will there be answers when Keisha wakes up in the morning?
I know this happens. It cannot happen again.
Due to adult sexual subject matter, this program is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Keisha is in the midst of a sleep study to help doctors learn more about the causes of her sexsomnia.
I'm a person that likes to be in control. In order for me to do that, I need to make sure I don't put myself in a situation where I don't remember something that could be, bad or something that I didn't want to do.
I think people don't come forward with this disorder because I think it is very embarrassing for many people. We are just at the very beginning of trying to understand this with really not enough information to say exactly what's going on. I can't even begin to guess how many people have had episodes like this and have just simply not talked to a healthcare professional about it.
Hi, Keisha. The test is over. Just relax. I'm going to come in now and let you up.
After a full night of observation, Keisha and Dr. Emsalem meet to discuss the results.
We didn't capture a night event of any of the intimate kinds of behaviors that you've had. We did see that you cycled earlier than normally through rapid eye movement sleep on that study night. But there are also normal cycles of erectile function associated with REM sleep. Men have erections, but women also have their equivalent of erections in REM sleep. So it's a time when there might be more opportunity for sexual behaviors if you were abruptly awakened out of REM.
Bottom line, there could be a connection between Keisha cycling too soon out of REM sleep and her sexsomnia.
I think now we really are at a point where we're going to try to suppress those episodes with medication. The medication that we use most frequently to try to manage abnormal movements and behaviors at night is a drug called clonazepam. This drug promotes and deepens sleep and tends to suppress abnormal behaviors during sleep.
In addition to the medication, Keisha must now take steps most ordinary people would never consider. They may seem drastic, but for a sexsomniac, these precautions can be the only protection against an unintended sexual encounter.
I know this happens, it cannot happen again. Especially with someone that I had no intentions of being like that with. So my normal precaution is I just don't spend the night at somebody's house. I don't really hang out late anymore. I make sure that I'm home at a reasonable time, that I go to sleep in my bed, that no one's here, that I don't want to be intimate with. You know, I'm okay, I'm healthy, but it could have went the other way. So I need to make sure that it doesn't go the other way.
I think Keisha's future looks really quite good. She is feeling better already in terms of her alertness during the daytime. She's doing a better job of regulating her nighttime sleep, and I think that's really great news for Keisha.
I've taken control of my life and just moved on. I'm not worrying about it. You know, apparently it's something I've done for a very long time. I'm just aware of it now, so no need to freak out. Because obviously it's done is done. You can't go back and change it. You can just move forward and just don't put yourself in that circumstance.
Keisha's condition is highly unusual, but it exemplifies the all too common silence and even shame that often surrounds strange sex disorders.
Sexsomnia is a sleep disturbance. Yes, there is a sexual component to it, but ultimately it's a sleep disorder that needs to be treated. A semen allergy is just a severe allergy that affects both sexuality, the ability to conceive, relationships, but ultimately it's an allergy. We call sex addicts, the word sex is sexy, but in fact these are disorders that affect people's lives terribly, and we have to treat them with empathy and respect. They feel alone, they suffer in silence.